From the students of Penn State Meteorology, here is your Penn State Campus Weather Service forecast.
Good morning. I'm student meteorologist Denys Khrulov with your Friday morning Campus Weather Service forecast. So taking a look at the current Beaver Stadium live camera, we have a pretty decent sunrise over the region as those high clouds begin to filter in as the system moves in from the west. Anyway, we're sitting at a temperature of 30 degrees with a feels like of 30. So with the winds being calm, it does feel a little bit chilly outside, but it could be a lot far worse. So taking a look at the current weather headlines over the next few days, we're going to have a widespread severe weather threat on Saturday across the Commonwealth. But outside of the severe weather threat, we're going to have a high wind threat statewide as well. Potentially wind gusts potentially over 50 miles per hour in some spots. But while we do see a brief cool down on Sunday, we're going to see much warmer conditions as we head into early next week. So taking a look at the current temperatures across the local region, we do have temperatures generally into the mid to upper 30s depending where you're located. So we're rather on the same general theme across the local region. As we head out to the entire state, we do have that same theme going on with temperatures generally into the mid to upper 30s with the coldest spots in eastern PA where a few locations are still below freezing this morning. Taking a look at the current radar and satellite, we do have those high-level clouds that are beginning to move from west to east across the Commonwealth with a few rain showers that are beginning to move into a portion of the western portion of the state. So the rain will be the big issue today as we see that warm front lift into our region, bring the threat for precipitation. Taking a look at the general side of things across much of the United States, again, we do have this developing system across the upper plains that will be providing these rain showers across much of the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes region, and even here in PA. But this will also cause a rather widespread severe weather threat across much of the central United States later this afternoon and evening. More on that later. So timing it out here across the Commonwealth, we're going to have rain showers begin to move in across much of this western portion of the state by noon today. And as these continue to move eastward, we'll be impacted here in State College by around 3 to 4 p.m. We're going to be really into the middle of this rain threat. And then as we head into this evening, the showers will slowly dissipate, but we could still have potential scattered showers across the western portion of the state this evening. So taking a look at the current Storm Prediction Center outlook, not big threat here in State College with a general risk, but as we move forward west into the central United States, we do have this large region outlined by the Storm Prediction Center for the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms, with the greatest risk being in the orange or red areas. If you have any family members in these areas, the potential is there for numerous to widespread severe thunderstorms, especially if you're in any of these red areas or the moderate risk zones, which is the level 4 out of 5 risk on the Storm Prediction Center scale. You could see long track tornadoes, damaging wind gusts over 75 miles per hour, and the potential for very large hail. So again, this is going to be a very serious threat ongoing this afternoon and evening across much of the central United States. Again, if you have any family members in this large zone, make sure to alert them of the potential threat. So taking it back locally, the wind threat is going to be a big issue tomorrow. So waking up tomorrow morning, much of the state will have wind gusts into the lower 30-mile-per-hour range, but that will be changing as we head into the afternoon hours. So again, as we move into the afternoon hours, we're going to see those wind gusts really kick in with potential gusts up to 60 mile per hour in spots, especially down in Johnstown and Pittsburgh. Here in State College, we'll probably stay under the 60 mile per hour gusts, but we will still have gusts potentially up to 55 to maybe just below 60 miles per hour. And then across eastern portion of the state, again, the potential for strong wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour does exist. This is outside of the severe thunderstorm threat. And then as we move into the evening hours, those winds will generally start to subside west to east as the front moves through, but we could still have gusts potentially up to 40 miles per hour late overnight tomorrow. So more on that, the National Weather Service has issued a high wind watch for portions of the lower highlands and portions of the Pittsburgh region for the event of the high winds tomorrow. If you're under a watch zone right now, you could potentially see wind gusts over 60 mile per hour tomorrow afternoon and evening, which could lead to widespread power outages, widespread flying debris, down trees, and again, just make sure you're prepared for the high winds tomorrow and charge all of your electronic devices. So timing out for tomorrow's severe weather threat. So while in the morning we're going to have a few showers going across much of the central and western portion of the states, those will eventually clear out by the early afternoon hours. Again, we'll have that sunshine across much of the western and central portion of the state. So this is pretty bad news because as we see that sun across the region, the atmosphere is going to rapidly destabilize, which will lead to the threat of thunderstorms. So again, by 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're going to have a line of storms push through much of western portion of the state. Some of these storms could pack wind gusts over 60 miles per hour at times. That squall line will continue to push west. By State College, this squall line will push through around 5:30 tomorrow evening. So be on the lookout at that. But as we look on the back end of the squall line, we're going to have much cooler air filter in, which could change some locations over to snow showers, especially across the upper elevations in the snow belt regions. And as that squall line begins to push further east, it'll begin to impact portions like Scranton, Allentown, and Philly. By the sunset hour tomorrow, again, this squall line could pack strong wind gusts of potentially over 60 miles per hour as it moves through. And again, here in State College, we'll see mostly rain showers, maybe a few flakes mixing in by the evening hours. And then overnight, we'll have those cooler air temperatures filter in with temperatures potentially into the lower to mid-30s by the overnight hours. With that severe weather threat being said, we do have a slight risk of severe weather by a slight storm prediction center, which is a level 2 out of 5. So we do have a pretty heightened risk across, again, much of the central, I guess just much of the state, actually. In fact, under a slight risk. I would not be surprised if we see an upgrade to an enhanced or level 3 out of 5 risk, especially with that strong squall that is expected to move through much of the Commonwealth. So again, make sure you know the difference between a watch and a warning. So if a watch does get issued tomorrow afternoon and evening, that could mean that the ingredients are there for severe weather. Just watch for updates, keep an eye to the weather. However, once a warning is issued, that is when you should be taking action indoors, especially in the most interior portion of your building and a basement preferred. So again, know the difference between a watch and a warning. Make sure to be prepared for the severe weather tomorrow, but make sure you have a safe location to take shelter in case severe weather strikes, and have multiple ways of receiving severe weather alerts. Anyway, for today, we're going to have a high of 53 degrees with afternoon showers. We'll have gusty winds of potentially 20 to 25 miles per hour this afternoon and evening. By the way, the wind will not be the biggest threat. It will be really the rain. So a really dreary afternoon. Make sure to bring your umbrellas and raincoats before heading out the door this morning. By tonight, we'll have a low temperature of 52 degrees. It's going to be a rather mild night, but those showers will continue with wind gusts potentially 20 to 25 mile per hour at times, but otherwise a pretty dreary night as well. And then as we head into tomorrow, we'll get a high temperature of 68 degrees with strong thunderstorms expected in the afternoon and evening. But otherwise, outside of those thunderstorms, it'll be very windy, potentially wind gusts of 50 plus miles per hour. I wouldn't be surprised if that squall moves through. We'll see gusts over 60 miles per hour with that squall line. And then breaking it out for the 7-day outlook, again, the biggest threat for precipitation will be today and tomorrow. By Sunday, we'll have that cooler air filter in with highs barely making it to 50 degrees. But don't look too much into it, because as we head into early next week, the temperatures will significantly warm back up into the mid to upper 60s, with temperatures peaking on Wednesday into the low to mid 70s, but we do have that next cold front chance moving through Wednesday afternoon and evening, bringing the threat for another round of thunderstorms. And by Thursday, we'll slightly cool off with temperatures into the mid 60s. Anyway, I'm student meteorologist Denys Khrulov. Have a great weekend and week ahead.